Disclaimer at the beginning of this video, this is a janky job, so this video isn't 100% what a certified mechanic would do. So some steps I've done here is wrong, and you could definitely let me know in the comments below. So without further ado, let's do it. Part 2. We're going to go ahead and replace the rod bearings and possibly the main bearings as well. Let's get to it. So we're going to remove this piece right here. I believe it's held in by this 1, 2, there's one in the back, and then I believe it's 2 here as well. I think these are 10mm sockets. Alright, I removed both of the nuts and the bolts, so this piece can come out now. For the oil pan, I know I'm going to have to clean this off. A lot of this is stuck up there. We'll use some brake cleaner for this and a razor, and it'll take a minute. Now next up is the girdle. I'm going to be removing these bolts here. They're 14mm. I believe there's 5 in the front and there's 5 in behind here. So I went ahead and loosened them in the star pattern. So I did like this one first, back side here, then back here, front side here. So I went around in the star pattern like that. So now we should be able to remove each one. This line here, you can take this out as well. This is the this is how you check your oil. So this is the line here. I think I'm gonna try to keep these bolts in order, the way it's set on the also. Okay, so I removed all the bolts. Next is to take this out, mainly like a rubber mallet to hit it until it loosens up. Alright, so after a little bit of tapping and a little bit of pulling, I was able to slip it out. Now you can already see some of the bearings here at the top here. Alright, so I went ahead and rotated the crank. You turn it this way so that I can get to the one that's the main issue, which is this rod. You'll remove the 12mm nut from the cap. So here I use an impact wrench. This is the Milwaukee impact wrench to go ahead and zip out the nuts that's located on the rod caps. Now it's probably best not to use this, to go ahead and just use a socket and a wrench to go ahead and remove those nuts, but just something I did here that's probably incorrect as well. One thing I did make sure was I did put it on the lowest settings, so that might help not destroy everything. Okay, so it took a lot of persuasion, but what I had to do was, when this cap was on here, I hit the bolt until it popped it out, and this got pretty stuck in there because this one is the bad one. As you can see, it has some, looks like some shavings there. Yeah. Let's pop the bearing out. It spun around. It's pretty bad there. Yep. So I went ahead and sand down just a little bit. I used 1000 grit sandpaper just to sand this down a little bit. This wasn't too bad, wasn't scarred up here as well. I mean, for mine, it started like almost as soon as I got home, so I didn't drive it since then. So I'm gonna try to drop a little bit of oil, and then I'll drop the bearings in. Okay, so I have the bearing in this side, and then on the cap, I'm gonna have it on the cap as well. So I went ahead and tightened down the rod caps, put them on, and I tightened them down to 24 foot-pounds, roughly around there. So now I'm gonna do the next rod cap and put the rod bearings on that. Alright, so I took the other cap off. This is the bearing. A lot of scarring. So we'll go ahead and change this one out too. Came out from right here. So all the rods have its bearings inside now. So next up, I actually have these bearings as well. Also, these are actually for, I believe it's called girdle. Should be, I think, 10 altogether. 5 here and then 5 that's on the actual crank. So I'll change these out as well. So I wanted to do a voiceover in this part of the video. It's probably best to go ahead and clean up everything that's on the girdle. I didn't do that. This is my first time doing this job, so totally the incorrect way to do this. So, but I'm just posting it so people can see. Alright, so got everything on. Looks good. Everything's nice and tight. Alright. So reverse order, put the girdle back on. I gotta do the oil pan gasket, which took me a while to do. So now we'll transition to what it sounded like when I started it up. Alright, so got the new bearings in. Just trying to run it real, just okay. Starts and dies. That little hissing noise is from here. I gotta tighten these down real quick. But other than that, no more knocking. Sounds pretty good. Just gonna let it idle for a bit. Sounds nice and silent. Quieter than it did before. I'll keep an eye on it. I'm gonna cycle the oil back and forth, since there was a little bit of shavings in there from the bearings going bad. Otherwise, it looks like it worked out. So again, my name is Rich. Have a good one. Peace.